On behalf of Institute of Harmony and Peace Studies, New Delhi, a very good evening and a warm welcome to every one of you present here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Some persons are yet to join, so they will be joining. I think we proceed with our discussion. A few things by way of situating the seminar. Friends, it is nice being with all of you this evening on this virtual platform after quite some time. It is in fact a positive outcome of the coronavirus that the virtual platform has become very active and we are making use of it. But I'm happy that all of you have spared your valuable time, have taken the trouble of being here, and I appreciate your goodwill and interest, along with the commitment to the cause of harmony and peace in the society. All of you are professors from different disciplines and from different universities, from different parts of the country, currently or formerly. There can be a question, why professors discuss religion? But personal faith is not very important here. Most of us, some way or other, are part of the interfaith movement too. Analyzing the phenomenon leading to generating knowledge is more important. Professors have critical ideas and views. That's the logic being applied here. All of us hail from different religious communities, but speaking about one's own religion or speaking about any religion for that matter is not expected here today. Directly, a critique of the title in question is what is required. This webinar is being live streamed on the YouTube channel of the Institute. The Institute has a data bank of some 30,000 emails across the country and the globe. Research institute and universities often take up the insights for their classrooms. Your valuable insights will be circulated far and wide as well. By way of time limit, I had thought that 5 to 7 minutes, maybe since we are a few, maybe we could even go till 10 minutes. I believe we could proceed to a second round discussion by way of fine-tuning the topic towards the end. I wish to request all of you to kindly stay till the end. A few things by way of introducing the theme in question. I have a very secular and all-inclusive bent of mind. This topic emerges from the over 40 years of my journey in the mission of promoting interfaith and social harmony and peace in the society. The title here is Life is the Center and Not Religion. It has two parts. The first part, there is life, the focus, and second part, religion. The former affirms life is the center, and the latter negates, not religion. The creative power, not religion, would mean that religion is not the center. The creative power, whom we call God, is life in its basic form. He is life giver and source of life. The act of creation has been the sharing of that life with the creation, the vegetation, the animals, the human beings, all alike. We humans have received life and are invited to live it to the full and surrender it when we are unable to sustain it. Life is the gift. Life is the core and life is the center. हिंदी में कहा जाए जान, the life within, and the zindagi, the totality of life we live, both together is God's gift. Life is divine made and religion is human made. Life is primary and religion is secondary. Life is real, religion is lifeless and abstract. Religion receives life from believers only. Religion is at the service of the society and has to be so. It has to be pro-life. That is what it is for. Religion may be useful to some, but not useful to some as well. Religion is like good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. There's a good dimension and there's a bad dimension as well. Religion can be a blessing. It can be a liability also to some extent. Making religion the center of life is like cutting the limbs to suit the ready-made coat. Making religion the center is the source of all havoc in this world, like discrimination, distance, hatred, lynching, war, and the like. Most of the natural processes of life have hardly anything to do with religion as well. Religion has to be kept in its right place in the society in view of making it truly relevant and meaningful and useful. Well, life is the center, not religion. That would make better sense out of our human lives, our society, I believe. This is our point of discussion. Well, now I wish to open the discussion to all learned professors present here on this issue. First of all, I would like to maybe invite a opening woman, Professor Lajwanti Chatani, Professor of Department of Political Science, the Maharaja Siad Rao University, Baroda, to share your views on this theme in question. Professor Lajwanti.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak today at what I think is a very...
could you be slightly louder?
All right. So thank you very much for giving me this. Is this good? That's all right? I hope I'm audible now. All right. So thank you very much for giving me this.
You are audible.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak today at what I think is a very relevant topic for our times. If I have to characterize our times today, I think they are one which is extremely and essentially violent. And for most of this violence, the source seems to be religion. Now, let me say this at the beginning that I think what we often do is we throw the baby with the bathwater. So when talking about how religion is in a way, when we read religion, and I think what this discussion is doing is rereading the relevance of the place, the relevance of religion. So we need to re-look at the place of religion. But if one had to have a very not worthy reading of religion, I think that could characterize the kind of violence that we see today. And I think it is therefore pertinent to place religion vis-a-vis life. What I'm going to do, since the time is short, and I would request Thomas to please tell me when, give me a minute so that I can stop, but I assure you I will not cross 7 minutes, is I want to make 3 points which in a way tell us that religion is not the center, it is life, and why. So the first is to argue, and I'm arguing this, and I'm not saying this because I'm a professor, I'm saying this because I'm convinced about this. And when I relate to religion as well as to life, this is how I relate to it. So if we look at religion as the center and not life, which this topic is not about, if we inverse it, religion the center and not life, then we are making religion the end and life a means. We have made life a means to the realization of religion. And I think that will bring all human values, human existence, human norms, human relationships, all become less valuable than religion. And I'm sure that even divinity would not accept this. Even the divine would not, would not agree or approve of putting life, human values, human coexistence, and I'm coming to coexistence in some time, human life, human values, human norms, and reducing them to the concern of religion. When this with the discussion saying life the center, not religion, I think it is not throwing the baby with the bathwater. I think what the argument, or the way I would read it, is that religion is the means to life. Religion is a means, and means are important. Tools are important. For instance, education itself, but these are means. I'm not comparing religion, and to nutrition, but I think it would be interesting to compare religion to education. So religion becomes the means of living a full life, becoming the means of realizing religion. And I think this is very important for us to understand today, that religion is a means to living a full life. So when we talk about what is the place of religion in our lives, I think we need to look at, and there is no hierarchy between means and end. For if there was no means, you would not reach an end. However, one has to really ask, what are you doing this for? So the first point I want to say is that religion becomes a means, life is the end, and a good life is the end. The second thing I want to say is that when we say religion is a means, and here my political science background does come in, I think when we make religion the means, we're able to critically look at religion. I'm sorry about this. We're able to critically look at religion. My phone is linked to my laptop, so it goes off. So we're able to critically look at religion. Why do we need to critically look at religion? And I must say, critique is not condemnation. We often make this slippage that critique is where we are condemning religion. I don't think I'm sure I'm not talking about that. And those of us who talk about critique are really talking about assessing religion. And we do know, and we must admit, that there are some religious practices which are unacceptable. They are evil. They are unendorsable, and they are against life. For instance, human sacrifice, which was at one time justified by some religions, is unacceptable. The practice of sati is unacceptable. The practice of untouchability is unacceptable. The practice of no widow remarriage is unacceptable. And we can go on and on in many other religions, what is unacceptable, and how do we judge what is unacceptable when we look at the category of life at the center. And from that center point, critique religion. In order to make religion a better means of realizing life, of living a pure, a better life, a good life. So religion is something which should be open to some degree of considered, conceited reform. There is a need to reform religion. And one can only do this if you consider it as a means and not at the center of life. Anything at the center, and we know this is particular about centrist logic, the center does never changes. The center remains constant. And the last thing which I want to say as my opening remarks is that when we look at particularly the society we are living in, I do not know, some of you may not be in India, or for that matter, many societies. I don't think any society can say that it is singularly religious. There is only one religion in this society. Even if there were only one religion, there would be multiple ways of practicing that religion. So even if you have a society, for instance, like Israel, which says that it is a theological state, it's a religious state, it's a religiously defined state. Even there would be different varieties of Judaism or Zoroastrianism. So when we talk about when we talk about societies where there are more than one religion, then how do we coexist? And I said I will come to coexistence. How do we coexist? And I think this is a very important question for us today, particularly in the discipline that I research and I teach. How do we coexist, keeping in mind the fact that we all adhere to different religions or different religious practices? How do I coexist with someone who does not agree with me on my understanding of faith? And that is perfectly all right. I think we also have to to take this as something which should not be changed and cannot be changed. And I think that is what brings in the idea of tolerance. We need to imbibe the values of tolerance. And tolerance is not that you kindly assimilate with me and then I will tolerate you. You become like me and I will tolerate you. I think tolerance is far different. And tolerance is, I disagree with you. And I think there are two things which tolerance tells you. One is I disagree with you, and I recognize what I think is divine is not what you think is divine. And the second more important thing, which is very relevant for India today, is that I not only disagree with you, but I know that I can impose my values on you. I can do that because I have the political power to do that. So I can impose my values on you, yet I tolerate. And I think that is what is tolerance. Tolerance is not when you cannot impose your values on someone, or you say you become like me and then I will tolerate you. I think broadly what is happening all around the world today. So tolerance has this double thing. One, I disagree with you. And two, I know I can impose my values on you. I have the political power to do so, but I tolerate you. And I think this is important. And how do we achieve this? We achieve this when religion becomes a means, when life is at the center and not religion. These are my opening remarks. Thank you very much, Dr. Thomas.
And now I would like to proceed to Professor M. Afzalwani, Dean, University School of Law and Legal Studies, Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University, New Delhi. Professor Afzalwani. Professor Wani.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas, and very revered panelists. I think I would say heart is the center, and so I shall speak from the heart, direct.
Right.
I would say that the academics has got so much polluted that it's very impossible to get out of that academic trap and terminology and then find out on what to bear and on what not to bear and where to find the center and where not to find the center. It's very difficult to find an honest, upright, straightforward academic today in the world. All are lost in their perspectives. Therefore, what I decide to say is that I am the center. I am the center to all of you. And there you have to judge that what best as a human being I can do for him. And then for me, you are the center, and I have to see what the best I can do for you. And the standard for that is what I shall not like for myself, I should not like for another also. And what I like for myself, I should like that for another also. Here is the life, and if there is anything what you call religion, if it is existing there is anything honestly there, then that maybe then these two will stand together, go ahead together, and all that. When we take in that sense of the term, we have then found the grain and we are throwing off the thatch. The question is that, for example, if maybe I'm here because I am a Muslim, and then when I look to the Quran, then Allah in the Quran, He is making it important that, you know, when in the first revelation, He makes important read, and then He does not say you worship, He says you read. And then He looks to the creation. If it is life, I have created you from a clot of blood. That's, you know, from the embryo. We have created you from the embryo. And then the next thing says that I have taught you to learn, I have given you knowledge, and you share, you know, this knowledge with everybody. The question is that one has to understand the physical life from that embryo ahead or before that, and then what all is important for this embryo growing into a human being when God says, "Walakad karamna bani Adam," I have given respect to the human being. That means that respect is
Yeah.
so the question is, I had a call, I'm sorry for that. So I'm getting these two things. One, that I have created you if it is the physical life. And then when Allah Himself talks of, I have given, Walakad karamna bani Adam, I have given respect to the human being. These are the two things, physical and all other aspects of life, because dignity covers everything. It covers all the requirements of life up to something which is worth a human being, that's dignity. And God Himself says, I have given dignity to the human being. Walakad karamna bani Adam. So this is the responsibility of the human being, to look to the physical welfare of another person and also look to the dignity of another person. That means he has to, that is the life, and the order which is coming, you do it, is the religion. If we call it, I don't bother to call it religion or any other thing. I would say what is central is that you take care of the physical being and welfare of another person, and also take up the care of the dignity in another person. And if there is anything religion that way, that should prepare you for these two important things, looking to the best of the life of another person and all others. When God is giving dignity to another one, you have to give it. When God is careful about the process of life, you have to be careful about it. That will bring in everything, whether it is environment, whether it is, you know, any system of governance, whether it is any legal system, whether it is any judicial system, or any kind of, you know, thinking, understanding, culture, that all has to revolve around the dignity of the human being. And in that, that big part of it, environment, culture and other thing, there is a small thing what you generally call is religion, and that has unnecessarily been made so much dominant by extracting certain different differences and then nourishing them. That's totally and absolutely not acceptable to this standard, that you have to take the care, the physical and other aspects of life, which is important to Almighty, which is important to the Creator Himself. And there, you know, if there is a creator, then he takes pride in that thing, that I am the creator, I have created the best, I have given you the dignity, and that's to every human being. And then when we look to all the essence of any of the religions, they are centered towards that. They are not the center, they are centered towards that fairness, towards that good, and towards that better life, towards that better thought, towards that better understanding, towards that better culture, and towards that better saying every time, that's the tolerance, that is the, you know, coexistence, that's the harmony, that has to be centered to those things, those values, and it's basically all values are also to that valueful life. I think that's how, if even if I have to come out of the straight jacket of the academics that has been developed here and there, and they will ask you a question straight away. Is life the center or religion? And then in a TV channel, they will tell you, will you speak for it or against it? I'll say, I'm not going to speak. I'm going to give the essence as I understand it. And what is generally done is, in all these kinds of debates, you are asked to speak for or against, and that is the whole trouble that's being created. And that's how nobody is understanding neither his own religion nor others' religion. So much chaos and confusion. You cannot take for granted what you understand of one religion, it is the same. It's when you go to the essence of it is not what you actually find. And some academician, some so-called author, some so-called thinker, he has in a way developed that kind of notoriety for himself as well as for any religion. That's quite absolutely not acceptable. That's wrong. And from that angle, when we look to any religion, it is for life, and life is the center. And which life? It is that life which is in coexistence, which is the standard, is that life, that what you like for yourself, the same you like for others also. It is the same thing which you do not like for yourself, you cannot like for another person also. That's the standard and that's the life. And that, Hitler can say, I'm doing everything for my life. His thought is his life. His action is his life. This thing is his life. No, that's not. Then that life is not the center. And in the same way, somebody will say, my religion is this, I am that, and he will take that as the center. It's not the center. No, the reality is that a value-based life, which is for coexistence, harmony, and acceptable universally for anybody, that life is the center. And the religion is one of the supports to it in its reality. And anything in religion, centrality will also mean that this will judge the values which some religion is talking about, as you found that you find in different kinds of popular versions of certain religions in common societies. They are not acceptable. They have taken those practices, without reference to the main idea, main thing. As I talked about the Quran very deliberately, because probably I'm expected, because Dr. Thomas may have put me there because of that. When we take the basic idea, God says, I have given dignity to the human being, then anything interpreted, advanced, promoted, followed, which goes against this basic value, the basic value of life and basic version of life, basic facet of life, basic understanding of life, basic living of the life, then definitely that all will make you clear that this is truly religion, part of religion, this is not religion. So religion is that what is supported to that version, that reality of life. Otherwise, it is not so. And that's how I would again say that first, I don't want to go, with the versions created by different authors and others, so that they put you in a straitjacket to say things in yes and no, to be against or for. No, that I reject scarcely, because they had pledged their conscience to something here and there and there. Number two, that basically the life is the same and it has to be defined with reference to the physical well-being as well as the psychological, social, economic, cultural, and where Allah says, I have given dignity to the human being and nobody has a right to take it away, because for his own economic well-being, for his cultural well-being, this and that, whatever it may be. And then the third thing I'm saying, that the religion, if you have to truly understand, anything that goes against that value, basic value, is not the part of any religion. Any religion, I am telling you, because any religion evolves basically from the basic values of the same, which in Quranic terms is karamna bani adam, the dignity of the human being. And if there is anything against it, that is an human inclusion into it, because somebody described his ego, his pride, his this ship and his that ship and that ship. That is an inclusion. The things have crept into those faiths and they have to be sorted out. And that's how I would say that, yes, the life in its true essence, which is acceptable to the to all and which can have universal acceptance, is basically the center, and that's from the creator as well as for the creation, and that can include the human life, that can include the plant life, that can include the life of the ecosystem, that can include the life of anything. And then religion has to be sorted out in its true sense, what it ultimately is. And if we go by the versions of Dr. Thomas, then there I would say that tolerance will also have to be seen, that the tolerance will also be determined by the same factor of the life, that version of life. And then, yes, if somebody does not accept it, you have to say it, you have not to fight for it. You have not to exceed your limits. And there also, if I take the true Quranic value, anybody's cruelty should not make you also cruel. If somebody is cruel, you should not be cruel because of that. And that's how I think that value has also been, that's also very important from that version of life. Because if you turn also cruel, then your life also gets polluted, your values get polluted, your that value part of life that gets blurred. And I think that's what I can say in my this response. And with that, I pray God give us real understanding of life, give us real understanding of faith, and as regards the tolerance which Dr. Thomas is talking about, give us patience that we remain adhered to that true value of life, true concept of life, and then true religion, whatever it is, and it is never a transgression from this value of life which I was taking out. Thank you so much. Thank you for your hearing. I know that what I said, maybe I only understand it in my own way, but still I feel that some feeling must have gone out of my heart. I said, my heart is the center. I'm not saying I am the God, I am the center, I am the religion. I said, this is a thought which came right from the heart. God bless you all. Thank you so much.
And ahead, I would like to invite Professor Shahina Khatib, former professor, Department of Physics, Anjum Junior College in Nagpur, and a great interfaith activist. So, Professor Shahina.
Salams. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Am I visible?
Yes, yes.
You are audible and visible.
Salams. Peace and tranquility be upon all of us. It has been rightly said that life is the center, not religion. Religion is only a tool to achieve the purposeful life. Human beings are born with the return ticket with them. Hence, we have to spend each second of our life with consciousness. Man is truth-seeking creation. He is always in search of understanding laws of this universe, purpose of his life, and what happens after death. When we observe the universe surrounding us, we conclude that there is a law governing each process. Every object is bound to obey its physical laws. Human race is granted to the intellect to think and then to act. He has been gifted partial freedom to put him in test, but generally man misuses its freedom. The question is, what is the purpose of this life and how to spend it wisely? For this, our Creator has sent his messages and messengers. When we recognize our Creator, we must navigate our lives with positive attitude, humbleness, faithfulness, and fruitfulness for other fellow beings. We must strive for the upliftment of the society, socially, economically, and politically against all the odds. When we appreciate the central theme of life, we must become peace ambassador for others. Quran trains every member of the society to be peaceful, because whenever the state of peace and harmony prevails in a society in a real sense, everyone is involved in the positive activities. Their energies are utilized in reconstruction of their lives for the betterment of their lives and their social environment. But alas, human history is witness that majority of the human race does not care about the orders of their master. Nowadays, as a result, nowadays, our societies are losing human values of purpose, principle, process, and protocol. We must remind ourselves that purpose of our life is to submit to our Creator by free will. Principle of life is to be fruitful for the fellow human beings. Process is to seek the guidance through scriptures, and protocol is let the Spirit lead the matter according to the methods of Prophet. In India, we have great model of godly persons, reflecting noble and honest line of action with a great zeal and zest. I know the present situation is exactly upside down, but we should not lose our faith. The journey from darkness towards light is the result of human efforts. It has been said in Upanishad, Tamso ma jyotirgamaya. It has been said in Bible, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open to you. In Quran, it has been said, Minas zulumate ilan nur, from darkness towards light. The journey from darkness towards light is painful and tough, but we should not be upset, because Sahir Ludhianvi has inspired us by saying, कुछ और बढ़ गए हैं अंधेरे तो क्या हुआ, मायूस तो नहीं है तुलुए सहर से हम, माना के जहां को न गुलजार कर सके, कुछ हार तो कम कर गए गुजरे जिधर से हम. I request you all, think tank of the society, to promote purposeful, peaceful coexistence on this globe earth, because we belong to the same race, humanity. There is something for Father Thomas. हम समंदर हैं, हमें अपना हुनर मालूम है, जिस तरफ भी चल पड़ेंगे रास्ता निकल आएगा. Thank you, Father. Thank you very much. God bless we all.
I would request Professor K.V. Dominic, who is former professor, Department of English, Newman College, Tirupura, Mahatma Gandhi. Professor Dominic.
Thank you very much, Dr. Thomas, for inviting me. Good evening, everybody. Now, let me present my paper since the time is lagging. So, religion is defined as belief in a divine or superhuman power or powers to be obeyed and worshipped as the creator and ruler of the universe. The objective of religion is to achieve the goals of salvation for oneself and others, and if there is a God, to render due worship and obedience to God. Different religions have different understandings of salvation and God. From the definition and objectives of religion, one can assume that the scope of religion is metaphysical and not material. Religions are concerned about salvation or life after death. Death or life after death is possible only if life is there. So our primary concern should be life, and that should be the center of our thoughts and emotions. By life, we should mean not only human life, but other lives also, animals and plants, because human life depends on lives of other beings and plants. Religion becomes a problem when God the creator is considered as an entity outside man who resides in another world. Asked to please him and to live with him in his world after one's death, the believers do all kinds of rituals, and a few even kill the non-believers. One must remember that the established religions in the world evolved several hundred years back, when man had little knowledge of science, and their scriptures were written by their people based on the very little knowledge of the universe they had. Due to the ignorance of science, they could think of physical world like heaven, hell, purgatory, etc. What is needed today is the interpretation of these scriptures suiting to our times. But none is allowed to interpret them. And if anyone dares, the religious leaders will suppress it. Suppose a new religion is born today. There is no possibility of it. There won't be any heaven or hell, or a creator sitting somewhere. Science and religion can't go hand in hand. You can't request today's youth to believe something blindly. Unfortunately, many of the established religions are based on blind beliefs. Faith is blind belief based on superstitions. Advaita seems to be more reasonable than Dvaita. The term Advaita refers to the idea that Brahman alone is ultimately real. The phenomenal transient world is an illusory appearance or Maya of Brahman. And pure consciousness, the true self, Atman, is identical with the Brahman. In the concept of Aham Brahmasmi, or I am Brahman, God or the creator is not external, but residing in the creatures. The same sense you find in the term Tattvamasi, meaning you are God or you are part of God. According to Dvaita philosophy, the world is real. God, the creator of this world, is also real, but both are in different worlds. It is very clear that the problems and burning issues of our world can't be solved by religions. On the contrary, a few religious fanatics make life on earth intolerable and hellish. The ultimate purpose of our life is happiness, and the humanity can be happy only by serving them their necessities. The problems of this world can be solved only through the principles of Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam. Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam, as you know, is a social philosophy based on the spiritual understanding that the whole of humanity is made of one life energy. The whole existence is interwoven and intertwined. Life on earth is interdependent. Lives of man and animals and plants are interconnected. Existence of one is dependent on others. Similarly, one's comfort, happiness, and peace are dependent on others. It is applicable to individuals as well as nations. The global issues of poverty, pollution, terrorism, global warming, etc., are to be handled and solutions sought out by the entire nations of the world. The developed nations should pioneer in this attempt, and the other countries should give them full support. The human race as such has been passing through one of the most pernicious phases of its history since the beginning of 2020. As you are aware, one of the tiniest entities, coronavirus, is creating history in the world, dividing the world into two, before COVID-19 or BC and after COVID-19 or AC. Coronavirus has proved deficiencies of religions. Churches, mosques, temples, synagogues, gurudwaras, and all such worshipping places were closed. Preachers, priests, shamans, godmen have sought shelter in their locked houses. Those who looted wealth of the masses are never to be seen offering their hands when millions drown in the ocean of coronavirus. Let me pronounce my view on the function of religion, quoting my lines from my latest poetry collection entitled Musings on COVID Pandemic and Beyond. Where does religion lead us to? Happiness, bliss, shanti, nirvana? Or superstition, illusion, communalism, intolerance, prejudice, hate, exploitation, violence, bloodshed, massacre, and war? Its ideal function is former, but history proves latter more. I believe that God, the Creator, never demands flattery and worship, as is done in churches, temples, mosques, etc., but exhorts man to do service through words and actions to his fellow beings, including non-human and plant world. So it is high time that religions changed their focus to life on earth and work for the happiness and well-being of human beings, other beings, and the planet itself. With these words, I wind up my words, expressing my deep gratitude to all of you who listened to me. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I would like to invite Professor Alok Gadia, Professor, Department of Education, Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi, where I had the privilege of having my studies. Professor Alok Gadia, kindly present your views.
Yeah. Good evening, all, and I pay my respect to all of you for coming together in this online forum and discussing such an important issue, which is of high relevance in present context. As we see across the world today, religion and how religion is associated with life and vice versa, the entire world is thinking on that premise. So topic is very relevant, and let me submit here that I basically belong to Faculty of Education. I do not belong to theology, so I would like to address upon the issue of how a life should be respected and how we can understand how religion is a useful medium to make life meaningful. how we should value life, and how religion adds quality in our good life. So if I see that today human being is dominating the entire living kingdom, so what are the reasons that today there were many species who were far? We are at the top of living kingdom. We are at the top of our ecology. What are the reasons? So somehow I feel that our collective living, our nature of being a social animal, our nature of respecting our life and respecting the life of others, these are certain values which has made us to effectively continue our survival and exploiting the natural resources, and also maintaining our ages old humanity, tradition of humanity, and maintaining the religious principles. So religion, I feel, whether there should be life without religion, or there should be religion without people. If I say like that, there won't be, I feel, if we are a human being, then every life should be a religious life, because all religion teach humanity. That if there is a human life, it should be religious life. Religious here does not mean any particular ritual or any dogmatic practices. Rather, it is humanity, because the core crux of religion is humanity. All religion at par teach the core of humanity. No religion is there which prescribed or which does not approve humanity. So if I say life, it should be a religious life where we are practicing humanity and respecting each other. This is the way how we continue our collective living, and therefore we are human beings. We are not animals. We are not governed by our basic drives. Our needs are beyond food. Our needs are beyond water. If I guarantee someone that you will consistently get food, you will always get all basic needs, will it be sufficient for a human being? No. They will elevate themselves to safety need. Then there is a self-esteem need. Then ultimately they would like to reach to self-actualization. And what it is said that aham brahmasmi. What is the meaning of aham brahmasmi? That an element of divinity is hidden inside all of us. And the real task every person belonging to any religion should be to manifest that divinity, to identify that Brahma that is inside you. And therefore Vivekananda said that man is potentially divine. One cannot be in such a situation where always they are running after material gains. Ultimately, we have a need of divinity. We have need of self-actualization, self-realization. So the real core of education should be to manifest that divinity. Vivekananda also said that the real education is that makes the manifestation of divine perfection already in man. So that divine perfection is already there inside every human being, following different religion. So our task should be primarily, whether we follow any religion, is to respect that divine element. So definitely life is central. Life is central. I should not feel that only people of my religion have divine element. People of that religion have only divine element. That divinity is omnipresent with every human being. And our task should be to identify, to manifest that divine element, to respect that divine element. If there will be such feeling, no person can extend any kind of inhuman treatment to any other fellow being. They will break the boundaries of religion. They will break the boundaries of caste. They will break the boundaries of a nation. They will break the boundaries of all ideologies. These boundaries are man created, and these boundaries have separated us. But if you see a cool breeze, if you see birds, if you see all the natural phenomena, they have no boundaries. Sun gives equal energy to all of us. Birds can fly from India and they can go to Pakistan, or they can go to any country. In Banaras, migrant birds from Russia, they come to Varanasi. They don't have visa, they don't have passport. And what Javed Akhtar said, that पंछी नदियां पवन के झोंके कोई सरहद इन्हें न रोके. सरहद इंसानों के लिए है, सोचो हमने क्या पाया इंसानों के. पंछी नदियां पवन के झोंके कोई सरहद इन्हें न रोके. हमने सरहद क्रिएट कर दी, तो हमने क्या पाया सरहद बना करके. सोचो हमने क्या पाया इंसान बना करके. So we should not make more boundaries. Rather, we should try to respect life and integrate all religions. Ultimately, religion is a product of certain religious principles prescribed by a particular individual. So that all leads to humanity. This feeling we all should have. So we have to keep our life at top. Religious principles are the ways of humanity. I don't find any religious people will show any kind of disregard to any human being. So therefore, I must say that life is central. Life is central force, and therefore we are human being. If we are under the impression of self-pride, if we are under the impression of jingoist attitude, then I feel that is not the real practice of religion. And when we say that religion as an organized practice and religion as a spirituality, so we should connect religion to spirituality, not as an organized institutional practice. When we sometimes call off religious fanatics, when we sometimes call off intolerance, when we sometimes call off fundamentalism, somehow we associate religion with institution. Rather, there is need to associate religion with spirituality. And when we say spirituality, it becomes a universal force. It does not become a force according to a particular religion. So therefore, we have to make religion a universal force. We have to identify the element of humanity in all religion, and all followers of all religion should respect each other, should respect each other's life. And in this manner, we will be real follower of our religion. So that is the crux, and this should be propagated through education of system of our country, through constitutional values, through teaching national integration. NEP 2020 talks about global citizenship, that we are not the citizens of my own country, we are the citizens of the planet. So I am not the follower of only my own religion, but I am the follower of a universal religion. I am the follower of, I am the citizen of a planet. This boundary that belongs to India, that belongs to Russia, Syria, or Pakistan, these are the boundaries that we have created. But ultimately, we belong to a planet. And everything, if happens in a particular corner of planet, it affects all of us. As the world is now too much interconnected, you all know it. So without going into much detail, I would ultimately recite one of the great lines of Nida Fazli, कि घर से मस्जिद है बहुत दूर, चलो यूं कर लें, किसी रोते हुए बच्चे को हंसाया जाए. That is the real respect of life. Let us follow our religion. We should not disapprove religion, but religion is something that teaches us to respect human being. घर से मस्जिद है बहुत दूर, चलो यूं कर लें, किसी रोते हुए बच्चे को हंसाया जाए, and I feel किसी रोते हुए बच्चे को हंसाना is real respecting the life, is real following the religion that we are practicing. So let us be a true follower of our religion and true practitioner of humanity. With this word, I thank Dr. M.D. Thomas for giving me this opportunity, and the other panelists for giving opportunity to listen their their precious views. I am so much enriched. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you very much for all your contribution. May God, the divine, bless all of us, all our efforts, and make our country and our society a better place to live for the human beings and all living beings. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.